Hello, my name's Tommy and I'm delighted to welcome you to Podcast Assemble. If you clicked on the video because of the clickbaity title, you've fallen for another of my classic pranks. Full disclosure, I don't actually hate the MCU. Why would I? It's great. We have a podcast where we review pretty much most of the movies. Check us out, we're at Podcast Assemble. And not to mention, we remember the bad old days when the best superhero properties on offer were Jennifer Garner's Elektra fighting blind Ben Affleck on a seesaw for some reason, and the universe that sprung off from that modern classic. How about this? Let's say a more concerned citizen here to discuss a universe, or a Marvel Cinematic Universe, that might just need an intervention. Here's why I hate the MCU. Now, San Diego Comic-Con has just closed out with a heap of flashy new MCU news, and it feels like a bit of a turning point for Marvel's cinematic output. Though the dollars keep rolling in, the quality of the output appears to be declining somewhat. Well, if Rotten Tomatoes is to be believed anyhow. Hall H saw some incredible announcements. Black Panther Wakanda Forever looks like a game changer, while the announcement of no less than 2 upcoming Avengers movies in 2025 has breathed fresh enthusiasm into many fans. However, opinions do remain divided on a lot of the recent properties, such as the Eternals, and even the upcoming She-Hulk show, which even an appearance from Daredevil in the new trailer struggled to change the course of public opinion on. Now, since Phase 3 ended, the amount of hours been demanded by Kevin Feige himself in the form of movies, live-action shows, and animated TV shows has increased significantly. Not cool, Kevin! Now, to break that down, Phase 1 runtime overall was around 12 hours and 24 minutes. Phase 2 then had around 12 hours and 38 minutes. Phase 3 came in at a whopping 24 hours and 57 minutes. Well, it's been reported that Phase 4, to this point, we're not even finished with Phase 4, is running up to nearly 50 hours and counting. Look, Disney, I know you're excited, but chill out, dude. The market's saturated enough, and we just need a minute to enjoy the last thing you put out. Whatever that was at this point. Do you remember when Avengers Infinity War was coming out? We do. We remember the hype that came around if Thanos could possibly win. Heck, who am I kidding? We just want to know who might or might not survive. At the time, I actually had friends who probably wouldn't engage with comic book movies like this, who were actually in a round robin with me, guessing who might or might not make it out of the movie alive. Or hell, even earlier than that, when Sam Jackson's Nick Fury swaggered into Iron Man's 2008 post-credit scene. The buzz and the anticipation created for what might come next, or who might be the next hero to take the stage, was enough to drive us regular geeks crazy. See, it's the anticipation that made the MCU stand out from the crowd. The long-form storytelling, in an essentially episodic nature, made it feel like compulsive viewing and brought us back every time. But as we slog through Phase 4 and start to look ahead to Phase 5, with so many properties being released all the time, it's becoming hard to keep up. For instance, the final of Ms. Marvel released just days after the cinematic release of Thor: Love and Thunder. I hardly remembered that show was coming out, and I literally make a podcast about this stuff. Podcast Assemble. Follow us on your podcast provider of choice. Now, I actually really like the approach the Marvel TV series have taken. For the most part, they release weekly. It breeds a kind of water cooler TV which we're severely missing from Netflix's output. But with minimal time between the movies and the TV shows, there isn't enough time for the casual viewer or even the superfan to decompress and build anticipation for what the next installment might deliver. Now, Big Kev and Disney are in a bit of a sticky place. They tried to move away from the MCU formula with titles like the aforementioned Eternals, and we can see how that turned out. But from the perspective of the avid viewer, the regular quips and superhero origin movies on repeat is beginning to feel a little stale. Not that Marvel haven't tried. I mean, I personally loved Moon Knight. Oscar Isaac, he's one of my biggest man crushes in Hollywood. It took a chance on a different kind of superhero with a different direction and brought us a new take on the genre. But it's still got mixed reviews. With shows such as The Boys, Umbrella Academy, and even Invincible offering grittier and darker takes on the superhero genre, there are more great options out there than ever. And yes, the MCU does feel like a nice warm blanket, but it doesn't seem to be pushing the boundaries in the way that it once did, and other properties now are. For example, where movies like Captain America the Winter Soldier innovated by bringing a superhero into the spy genre, all the current Marvel movies feel like a superhero movie with X genre attached. Take Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, for instance. The best bits of that movie was when Sam Raimi was playing with the horror, but at the end of the day, it felt like a superhero movie first and a Sam Raimi movie second. Could it be time to break away from the by committee feeling of the universe? It's had a good ride.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
To reiterate, I love the MCU, and hopefully it goes on for years to come, and this is just a minor lull. But essentially the problem I have with the MCU at the moment is the oversaturation and the formula. Hang on a minute. No, wait. The two problems I have with the MCU are the oversaturation, the Marvel formula, and the lack of anticipation between movies. No, wait!
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition!
I do think the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a turning point. As consumers, our time is more in demand than ever, and we need to be more selective with what we watch. Perhaps it won't ruin my overall experience of the multiversal saga if I don't happen to watch Ms. Marvel, or Disney don't release a new show every other week. But what we want to know is, what do you think? Are you getting fatigued by all of the Disney Plus and Marvel content right now? Or were you just suckered in by my clickbaity title and stayed for my ramblings? Let us know in the comments below, and leave us a like and subscribe. I'm trying to do more YouTube content at the minute, but if you like what you're hearing, why not join us at Podcast Assemble, where you can come for your regular dose of geeky entertainment. Thanks for sticking with it, everyone. Tally ho!